poppin', people? Today, as I'm sure you can tell, we are not in the home office as usual. We're actually traveling. We're on the road in Jacksonville for our friend's wedding. Very exciting. So today, I'm just going to pop out a quick reaction video while everyone else is out and about, running some errands. So we're going to do a quick short video today. Today we're going to be reacting to How Strong Was Arnold Schwarzenegger, another video put together for us by Nick Strength and Power. Shout out Nick for all your great content. Let's go check this out. Let's see how strong he really was. Pump that volume a little.
Alright, what's going on, you guys? Nick here, Nick Strength and Power. So in this video I want to talk about how strong was Arnold Schwarzenegger really. So we know in bodybuilding that Arnold won 7 Mr. Olympia competitions. He was one of the best bodybuilders, arguably, of all time. But he also had quite an extensive lifting career in terms of Olympic weightlifting and powerlifting.
He actually started out as a weightlifter. His first competitions that he did were actually junior weightlifting competitions, and then that, from seeing the physique that he had built, is what got people to tell him to do bodybuilding instead of just weightlifting. Not to mention, at the conception of the sport, it was muscle shows. They lifted weights and did poses. Eugene Sandow, they would lift weights live to show people how strong they were. They were strongmen and bodybuilders for the same thing until it developed into their own kind of thing.
They're going to get to his gym lifts, which were unofficial, so we're going to get to those at the end of the video. But we're going to talk about how strong Arnold was in terms of Olympic lifting and powerlifting. So from 1963 to 1965, Arnold competed in Olympic weightlifting. His best overhead press was 264 pounds, which is the equivalent of 119 kilograms.
It's pretty solid.
His best snatch was 243 pounds, which is the equivalent of about 110 kilograms. And his best clean and jerk was 298 pounds, which is the equivalent of about 135 kilograms. So in 1965, he quit competing officially in Olympic weightlifting. So he's basically a teenager during his Olympic weightlifting career. So all of those lifts that you just heard.
So I was about to bring up. Those lifts, depending on where you're at in your bodybuilding career, may not seem that impressive. But remember, this is teenage Arnold. Most likely no PEDs. I don't know. They didn't really know as much about him back then. So I don't know if that makes it more or less likely that he was on them because they didn't know as much about him. But again, this is essentially teenage, maybe early 20s Arnold before he started bodybuilding.
Were completed by Arnold as a teen. So in 1966, Arnold started to officially compete in powerlifting meets. So from 66 to 68, those are really the only years that we have recorded powerlifting lifts from Arnold in official meets. So his best squat in an official meet from that window of time was a 473.9 pound squat, which is the equivalent of 215 kilograms.
Bad. Not to toot my own horn, my best squat ever was a little higher, although it was definitely like 26 or 27, and I don't squat anymore because of the pressure on my lower back from and shoulders and knees. And we can get into that a lot later, but I have squatted more than that, although I'm sure Arnold definitely squatted more than that later on in his bodybuilding career.
40.9 pound bench press, which is the equivalent of a 200 kilogram bench press.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
683.4 pound deadlift, which is the equivalent of 310 kilograms. So in 1968, he was age 21. So when he stopped competing in powerlifting, he was only 21. And those three lifts that I told you earlier, they total 725 kilograms, which is a 1,598.35.
It's pretty impressive at 21. That's way better than I was.
He's also known for his unofficial gym lifts and training really crazy heavy in the gym.
Yeah.
So according to Arnold's blueprint program on bodybuilding.com, he has a workout program that you can go download. He talks about all of his best lifts in the gym. So according to Arnold, in that blueprint, the best lifts that he claims to have had were a 545 pound squat, which is the equivalent of 247 kilograms, a 500 pound bench press, which is the equivalent of about 226 kilograms, and a 710 pound deadlift being his best deadlift of all time,
pretty solid as well.
322 kilogram deadlift at his peak. So I believe he said in the blueprint these were right before his Universe win, his first Mr. Universe win.
Okay.
So he's also known for heavy cheat curls in the gym. So in addition to the powerlifting lifts and the Olympic lifts, he was known to cheat curl between 250 and 275 pounds for reps. which is quite an impressive feat
That's
considering
nuts.
the fact that he's so tall and has such long arms. So that means the bar has a longer distance to travel during the curl motion.
Yeah,
So
that's
another reason
absolutely
that Arnold
crazy.
was so freaky strong was because he trained with some of the strongest training partners that he could find. For example, Franco Colombo. Obviously, a lot of people.
If that's your cheat curl, I don't think I count that as a cheat curl. I'm just saying.
People know that Arnold and Franco trained together, and they're still friends to this day. But a fact that a lot of people may not.
Quick pause. R.I.P. Franco. Fucking, we miss you, buddy. I never got to meet you, and that sucks.
Not know was that Franco was actually a lot stronger than Arnold. So Franco's best squat was a 665-pound squat, which is the equivalent of about 301 kilograms. His best bench press was a 525-pound bench press, which is the equivalent of 238 kilograms. And his best deadlift was 750 pounds, which is the equivalent of 340 kilograms. So it's important to note that Franco was obviously doing these lifts at under 200 pounds body weight.
Yeah, they used to call him, they used to advertise him at shows and everything as pound for pound the strongest man in the world. He did eventually do the strongest man in the world competition when that happened. Didn't place super high, placed extremely high for the fact that he's so small and everyone there was gigantic compared to him, but they would advertise him as like the pound for pound strongest, and at least back then it probably was.
While Arnold was completing these lifts, somewhere around 230, 240. And it's also important to note that Franco also competed in the World's Strongest Man competition.
Oh, okay, here we go.
So not only was Arnold really strong, but he trained with the strongest. So that is how strong Arnold Schwarzenegger was. I think the most impressive lift that I mentioned here was that 710-pound deadlift. So Arnold not only had the body of pretty much a Greek god, a 7-time Mr. Olympia champion, Mr. Universe, he was also, one of the strongest guys of that time period, arguably.
Yeah, for sure.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you learned something.
Yeah, back in the day, the standard for the strongest wasn't as high because not everyone was doing it, so there wasn't as much competition. There wasn't as much gear behind it. There wasn't as much scientific research behind it. There wasn't as much equipment. So he's just got a belt, regular shoes sitting on top of a plank of wood. He doesn't have a suit. He doesn't have the wraps, although I do think they had some version of knee sleeves, but there's no way they're as good as they are now. So those are really impressive lifts, especially for the time that he was in, especially for the level of knowledge that he was in and everything. Like I said, his all-time lifts are better than my all-time lists, so at least for now. I don't really do bench or barbell squat or barbell deadlift all that often anymore. My personal maxes, best bench I ever did was 365. Best squat I ever did was, I got 485. I failed 505 a couple times. I think I could have gotten it in a couple weeks if I hadn't separated my shoulder like a week later. Just not to be that guy, but anyways. And I pulled a 500 deadlift during my last prep just for shits and giggles, just to see if I could, because I was feeling strong that day, I guess, which is on my TikTok if you want to check it out. But yeah, thanks for joining me today. Awesome to come in on this short video, be able to still pump out some content, see you guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you're enjoying, kind of reviewing some of these older Nick Strength and Power videos. I'd love to do that. It's really cool to check out some of his old content from, before the news kind of days took off. Let me know if there's any more videos that you want me to react to, and let me know what sort of content you'd like to see besides the reactions. Get down there in the comments below, and I'll start trying to work on and make this channel everything you'd like it to be. Until then, have a good time.